Hello, Spider friends, and welcome to another Spider-Man retrospective. Oh yeah, I am Bonesaw. Bonesaw is ready. You know what sucks? There's a blooper. We had to re-record this. My Bonesaw last time was much better.
It's a good thing we have the same mic, so I know when it's not working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bonesaw is ready.
Once again, I am the wall-crawling menace, Dylan West.
Mm-hmm. I am the pumpkin-throwing Kyle Smith.
Mm-hmm. In your previous life, that was not as smooth. Just like a couple minutes ago.
It's true.
But then now.
There's a quick debate.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So for everyone tuning in today, you want to say what you were going to say before about...
What was I going to say?
What did you say last time?
About his name?
No, it's been a while.
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, not for the viewers though.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. So, as you fans of the series, as you know, we've been doing the classic 1994 Spider-Man animated series.
Very
if you're
classic.
new to it, that's
So
what we'll be doing. Go back and check those out. Spider-Man Homecoming is coming out in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've decided to go and watch all the old movies, all 5 of them, and do a little retrospective, really retrospective, and talk about them, review them, kind of talk about their impact, things like that. So this is the first one of the series. If you want all of them, head over to Patreon for the dollar amount. You can get them all.
Pretty good value.
Yeah, if not, you can wait. They're going to come up monthly. So Spider-Man 2002. Dylan, when was the last time you saw this movie?
You know, when I was thinking of this, as I fired it up today, I haven't seen this movie in probably over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
This was something for me, like the Star Wars prequels. I didn't see them. I loved them as a kid, but I just never rewatched them. And then when it came time with the podcast, I finally rewatched them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with this. I just haven't seen it for at least a decade.
Mm-hmm. And what are your overall thoughts after you watched it start to finish?
You know, let's see. Some things are not really disappointing, but didn't quite live up to my expectations.
Oh.
But I still enjoyed it. I still had fun with it, and it was I don't know. You can definitely see how old it is for a comic book movie. They definitely changed and evolved over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was, it obviously didn't start the superhero thing, but it almost kind of rebooted it because
I think it started the craze.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This came out, and then 2 years before X-Men came out. I think those were the two that were because you had your Batmans, your Supermans, but these were the ones that we're making lots of money off these.
Yeah.
You got a Hulk after this, you got a Punisher, you got a Daredevil.
I think Spider-Man, number 1 here with Tobey, I think it stands up in 2017. I still think it's good.
I'll join on this train wagon. That doesn't make any
What?
sense.
Wow.
This bandwagon here.
This train,
Wow.
hashtag train
Train
wagon.
wagon.
I am the train wagon.
Hashtag
Let's
Sam.
skip on this train wagon here.
I'm never letting you.
Yeah,
live that
as Dylan said, I also haven't seen it in probably over 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I do remember seeing around when I was maybe 12, 11, and thought it wasn't that good. And then I remember seeing it younger yet, and I did really like it. And that's kind of where, all this comic book and getting more into superheroes really started, was more with Spider-Man, as we kind of talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
With my overall, I really liked it more than I thought I was going to. I remember it not as good, but rewatching it kind of brought back a lot of memories and what I pictured Spider-Man, and I really liked it. It was really cool, so it was a really good retrospective for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself, Travis?
I've watched this. Oh, nice transition there, Kyle.
Yeah.
I've watched this movie many times, so this was not the same thing like Awakening. I've watched this movie last year. These 1 and 2 are 2 of my favorite comic book movies and just film movies. We'll talk about when we get it to 2. I think I'm in the very minor hipster group that I kind of 1 a bit better than 2. And it's maybe because the villain, but there's just many things that we'll get into when we talk about 2. But I love this movie. I think with this and Batman Begins, and Iron Man, I think those 3 are maybe your best origin movies ever. I think this does a great job at setting up Peter Parker. It doesn't take too long to set up.
No, it's very quick. Within the first 20 minutes, he gets he starts to feel his powers, and then even the
Norman
villain,
that's what made me put down my notes. One of my first notes was these things move quick, because already Norman was getting the experiments done. I'm like, that's crazy. But yeah, I love this movie. There's many things which we're gonna go over why I love it. I had a very hard time even finding any negatives for me, and I love it from start to finish. And I remember just as a kid watching it, and those along with probably Star Wars, even the prequels, those are the fondest memories I have as a kid of seeing these movies in theaters.
True, yeah.
That is, if I could go back and relive some moments, having that being a naive kid and not knowing what's next, seeing this stuff as like me, a little kid nerd who at that point comics weren't that popular.
Yeah.
So at that point, having people come up to you and ask you stuff because like, oh, you know stuff about this geeky stuff.
When did the third one come out? Because
2007.
Okay, I was just wondering because I saw the first two like in theaters and I still haven't seen the third one. I just never got around to it in my life.
Very excited for that.
I'm excited to see it too.
That cast I'm so excited for, even more than Amazing Spider-Man 2 because like just because we'll get into Spider-Man 2, but I feel like they set up the third one so good. Because it went 2002, 2004, and Spider-Man 3 was supposed to come out in 2006, but they delayed it for a little bit.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
So let's get into it. You want to talk about the man of the hour?
That's what we got to talk about.
Uncle Ben.
Yikes.
Cliff Robinson, amazing actor. No, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Dylan, what do you think about Tobey Maguire?
Tobey is so much different than
all of them, really.
Yeah, that's true. And like we obviously do the animated series, and he's a lot different than that.
Oh yeah,
a lot different.
Tobey has no cool bones in his
That's
body.
what I love. Like there's like that just like 5 or 6 minute like montage at the start of him just like being a total nerd, and I thought it was great. Like everyone's picking on him, even like the girl on the bus who's like also a nerd is just like, I don't want to sit next to this guy.
Yeah.
And I think he portrays that really well, and he's super awkward like the whole time. But I feel like sometimes like you could replace Tobey Maguire with like a cardboard cutout and there'd be no difference.
Oh, what?
Sometimes he just stands like sometimes I'm watching the scene with like him and Mary Jane and she's like talking to him, looking at him, and he like doesn't move once. Like,
but it's
the
all
entire
his
time.
eyes. That's how Tobey gets his acting. He has those great eyes.
But he doesn't move his eyes or anything.
He does sometimes.
Sometimes, but but you have to admit there is some scenes where he's just completely blank and not there, and that's what kind of surprised me because I always thought, you know, from my nostalgic memory, oh, Tobey was the best Spider-Man ever. He was the greatest to ever do it, and then I got back and watched it, and I'm like, I definitely am seeing some cons with this. Like, I think he does some things with Peter phenomenal, like the awkwardness and. Like he does look a little bit older than a high school kid, but obviously they pass by that pretty quick when they graduate in this first movie.
In the first half hour, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I sometimes feel like I don't know. Like I can't really remember him from other movies, so I don't know if it's his acting or if that's what he chose to do for this movie, or it was like directing. I'm not sure what it was.
Kind of his acting,
because sometimes he seems like a wall or something.
He's kind of like that in The Great Gatsby as well too.
Kind of a little bit. He's a bit more charismatic there. So see, I think when those scenes are like you throw Mary Jane, I think it's him just trying to play this awkwardness of he doesn't know how to talk to this girl, so he's kind of just standing there like in shock. Like for me, we're shackled because we haven't seen Homecoming, so that could change a lot of stuff with Tom Holland. He's great in Civil War, but it's a small sample size, and even in the previews for our Homecoming, I get the vibe that he's not as cool as Andrew Garfield or animated Spider-Man, but I get the vibe he might be a little cool, like just a bit where it's like this to me is the most like loser-ish Peter Parker, and that's why I like my Peter. There's many stories where Peter's not like a full-on loser. I like when he's an outcast and awkward because most heroes are like really confident or really strong, you know. And I like that he plays a kid well. He doesn't look it because he does look a bit older, especially in 2. Lots of people call him kid, and in 2 it's like he's a grown man, you know. Like, but it's like. I think he acts good enough as Peter. What do you think is Peter before we get to his Spider-Man?
I really like him as Peter. I feel his awkwardness with his encounters with Mary Jane and some other characters, it works really well for him. And it kind of, I guess you talk about how he looks older. I guess it's just I'm so used to seeing Tobey Maguire as he now and forgetting what he looked like. I guess it's almost 15, 16 years ago.
2002.
14 years ago.
So almost 15 years. 15 years.
15 years.
We can't do math better.
Yeah. So I thought he looked really baby faced, so I could really.
He's always looked baby. He still looks young now, so I think he's the perfect guy to pick to like. You're playing high school.
That's why I think the age like. High school was a little far-fetched, but they do move past that pretty quick. Yeah. So I mean, I was fine with it.
Yeah, like college young adult.
He looks like first year college kind of.
No, I really liked him as Peter. I quite enjoyed him. I thought he did a really good job. It's probably like one of my favorites of the 2 that we've seen so far. Between him and Andrew Garfield, I like how he is kind of just a loser and people are just picking on him the whole time, and he's just having had these moments of trying to prove himself. Well, not really, because
sometimes it is trying to get MJ the car, right?
And like he's
fight with Flash,
trying to talk himself up of like the classic like, oh hey MJ, he's like, he sees MJ, he's kind of walking behind her.
That's one of my favorite scenes in this
Yeah.
whole movie. Like, hey, you want to get a bite to eat?
Yeah.
Like, we talking, she's getting in the car, drive right? No, okay,
Yeah.
bye. Like,
Yeah, that was
that,
hilarious.
that's the stuff I really like
Yeah.
when he monologues to
Yeah.
himself. Like, that's saying when Garfield tried to play awkward,
Mhm.
it felt like he was trying to be awkward.
Yeah.
When Toby comes off as awkward, maybe that's just Toby in real life, but I don't think so. From like I said, in Gatsby, like I've seen him do different stuff, so he may be an awkward guy in real life, but not to this extent. And those are the things, and that's writing as well too. Like that scene is like Toby does it well, but they write the character of Peter awkward too. It's not fully Toby. Like they put him in situations where he's not shining as like a really cool guy, you know. And when something, even with the fight with Flash happens, he feels like kind of weird about it. Like when he sees everyone cheering, like he runs away because he's like. He's unsure about this, like he's big, and he's also
Well, even
worried
though
about
some
his
people like
powers.
call him a freak and stuff after that too.
Yeah.
So he always just feels like he just always looks like, even though he stands and walks around, he's awkward. So
Oh, like even the classic part when he does the web and the thing's following him and the door closes and the
Tray.
Trey's still calling
Yeah.
the door and everyone's laughing. Like they just do a good job at putting little breaks like that. What do you think about his Spider-Man?
About Spider-Man?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think he has as many like one-liners, but I do like that there is some here and there, and I found like, I mean, Peter or Spider, I really liked his lines, like his one-liners. I thought he was funny in this movie. And I think it was, like they did that better in this movie than in Amazing Spider-Man. I felt like just because they did like more of it, and you want to amp up the cheese to make those like. I guess that's kind of the comedic effect of them, is that they're really cheesy and really stupid.
See, I would disagree because Amazing Spider-Man 2, as much as it's not a good movie, I feel like Garfield does the wittier Spider-Man part a little bit better. It comes off a bit more natural. For me, Toby sometimes feels like he's reading a joke off, like, oh, this is the line. You know, like
Well, I mean, I get some of that just from like, just some of his scenes in general. Like it's his acting or like the way he says like a certain line is just kind of weird, and that's why I'm kind of unsure, like if that was what he was trying to do or not. Like I'm still kind of confused, and I don't know, maybe that's what he.
The reason I think he was going for it is because he's. Well, and it's the same guy, but it's very similar in Spider-Man 2, so that's why I feel like they made a choice in the director, like, you're gonna play it this way.
That could easily just be something for me of, like I have seen Great Gatsby, I don't remember him from that movie, and I don't know what else I've seen him in, so, like, my only real experience with him is kind of like this, so I don't really know what he's like as an actor regularly, so it's hard to compare.
Yeah.
But as for the suit, I like the suit. I mean, it's a classic.
It's the best one.
Yeah,
still.
I like that they like in Amazing Spider-Man and in Civil War, like Homecoming and stuff like that. Like I like that they're switching it up and giving it like new look and different things like that with the eyes and whatnot. But I love the classic look too.
Yeah.
This is like, I mean, I did watch the anime show as a kid, but this is like my Spider-Man suit from childhood kind of thing.
And I like obviously there's CG moments, but I still like the actual suit. Yeah. That's my biggest worry about Homecoming. It looks like he's in the suit more, but there's a lot of times you can tell it's a CGI suit because it's just, and I get it, it's robotic, it's fine, but like,
well,
I like
it's
the
even
fabric.
just like because it's brighter too.
Yeah.
It seems like a little unrealistic almost, but
yeah, like I like the fabric. So, Kyle, what do you think about Toby's Spider-Man?
I like the Spider-Man. I found his quippiness, like his one-liners, were not so good at the beginning, and then throughout more towards the end, they started to get a little bit better for myself, anyways. I didn't find them that good. But really like the suit. The suit's pretty slick looking, and as you said, the eyes were pretty sick as well too. I really enjoyed him, and just like the way he moves, even like I like how the web shooters actually come out.
Yeah,
that's
even though it's not comic accurate, I've always liked it better if it coming out of his body because there's never that excuse. We've talked about an animated show, right? How something happens, trouble, and it's like, it's broken. What's he gonna do? Where this is like, to me, you gotta find more creative ways to get out of Spider-Man. Even though there's a weird firefight in the middle, which I want to talk about, that it's really awkward. It ends very quickly. So maybe they don't really think of stuff, but. Yeah, I do like that it comes out of his wrist and stuff.
And that's like the Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I love that scene when he's like trying to figure it out and he's saying,
"Go web, go!"
Yeah, totally forgot.
Shazam!
I love that scene, dude.
It's so good. Yeah, and that's why I like him in that scene. That's funny, but it still comes off as like awkward funny too. Like he's this loser who's just doing all these different hand motions up top, and he finally figures it out. Yeah, like I like him a lot, Spider-Man. I feel he's much better in 2 and 3. Even though 3's not the greatest movie, he's more natural Spider-Man. I do agree with some people that I
feel like he's silent, like pretty silent in this movie and the second one, like as Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think he doesn't talk that much. He talks a lot more in 3, but that's why I have always leaned a bit more towards Garfield as the Spider-Man's part, because in the animated show, like you've seen it in comics, he's very witty, lots of one-liners, and Garfield did that a lot, where I think Tobey and them did it enough, but I liked him more as Peter, and that's my thing. I always like the Peter scenes more, because I love Spider-Man, but I gotta connect to Peter to really like the person. It's the same thing as Bruce Wayne. When people say, "Oh, it's like to me, you gotta nail that character, and then that's fun." Because anybody can throw in that suit and kick some ass. I want to be connected to them, so that's why I always felt it was better Peter. I think he's a really good Spider-Man. He's not as comedic, but he comes off, I think, a bit more heroic and kind of like a very. This is a very 60s adaptation of Spider-Man, of just a do-gooder of I'm gonna go do this, wherever it is. To me, he seems pretty family friendly, where Garfield's one, he'll even take shots at the cops. Remember watching Amazing Spider-Man 2, I just did your job. That's not this Spider-Man. This Spider-Man to me just feels like I'm trying to do the best for everybody, and let's go. Where Garfield has a little of an edge. I don't know what Holland's is going to be like, but I like my Spider-Man not with an edge, because I have other characters that have edges. I like him kind of being
it's good to have that awkward nerd.
Yeah, I like him being the golden boy. That's just oh yeah, I'm trying to do good. So. Mary Jane, unless you guys have anything to say on Spider-Man more. I know we're going to talk about him more, but...
No, yeah, I think we can move on.
Run down the cast. Mary Jane, what do you think about Mary Jane?
She's pretty spicy, I'd say.
Spicy.
Spicy. I think, just compare to, Gwen Stacy in Amazing Spider-Man 2, I don't like her as much as that. Sometimes I found that I just wasn't really, connecting with the character a whole lot. Yeah. And even, compared to the animated series, obviously there's we've seen a lot more of, MJ and stuff like that, and seen her do some stuff. Whereas in this movie, she doesn't do a whole lot on her own. She's really just there to, talk to Peter sometimes.
She's to me, a plot device of, it's Peter. I feel in the second one, she gets a bit more character development, and that's good, but the first one, she's just the odd...
I like her enough, but she's nothing, special.
But it's kind of a two for why I don't hurt, because, at the same time, they could do more, but I like that we're seeing it from Peter's perspective, and it's just his crush at this point, right? So it's kind of he has this idea of her, but we don't know that much. I find she's kind of selfish and a bitch in this movie. I have examples we'll get to. Okay. Yeah, when you're talking about animated MJ, I like her a lot more. She comes off more as the chick you want to hang out with, where Mary Jane comes off as she is the girl next door, but she feels like the really popular girl you couldn't talk to, right? Because I'm scared of her. Where MJ in the cartoon feels much more natural.
Yeah, it seems like they've been friends their whole life, whereas in this movie, lived beside each other their whole life, but they've never talked. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I do lean more towards Emma Stone's Gwen, because it's just a bit more.
Oh, also in that scene when he's following her, he's like, "Hey, MJ, we've lived next. I've been your neighbor your whole life. Did you know that?" That's so funny.
What do you think about MJ?
I really like MJ. Again, a lot of this whole film for me was just a retrospective of what I remember as a kid. So it's the classic redhead girl, even though looking back she's not really that true redheaded.
Well, she's not. She's blonde in real life.
Yeah.
And her hair changes from Spider-Man 1 to 2. It's really frustrating, because in 1 it's really bright and rich, and then in 2 it's more natural and more like Auburn. So it's very strange. It's kind of funny. So.
But I still really enjoyed her. I didn't really find anything too many faults or anything like that. I found there's a lot of screaming.
Oh yeah.
That is funny you bring that up. In the special features, which the special features, the DVDs that came out from 2000, 2006 have the best special features, when they used to 5 hour behind the scenes. Yeah. And she says that in every one. She said, sometimes I just get tired of screaming for Spider-Man all day. Yeah. There's takes of her just having to scream back and forth and back and forth. Oh yeah, and she's getting exhausted of it. So that's a thing I remember as a kid, her just saying that sometimes I get tired of screaming for Spider-Man.
She was screaming quite a bit.
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah.
When she's on the balcony, and it just kept going and going.
That's the scene she talks about when she's in that good gown. She's on the thing, and because she's stuck there, she can't move. Yeah. So. Yeah, and she plays the damsel in distress a lot in this movie, 3 times specifically, and that it happens 3. There could be more, but 3 times. And I think this is definitely the age where you can see it's a bit more dated, where the love interest was always a damsel in distress. Always. That's where, we've had that debate with Liam about Deadpool, where his girl becomes a damsel in distress, but they treat her a different way. She does some stuff, where MJ in this movie doesn't really do anything to ever help.
Yeah.
She's just kind of like, Spider-Man, like, I need your help, you
Yeah.
know? So
And it's that actually, I think it's in that same scene when she's like falling from the balcony for a while.
Mhm.
I was totally getting flashbacks of like Amazing Spider-Man 2 and like that scene with
Gwen.
Gwen falling.
Yeah.
Like I knew that wasn't going to be the outcome, but I almost pictured it in my head for a second. It's pretty brutal, but
No, otherwise I still really liked her. Kristen Dunst did a really good job.
Yeah.
Like she was given. So
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anything's an acting problem. I think it's just the character's a little basic.
and
in
you
this
can
one.
definitely tell it was from the 2000s, but we'll get more into that later on.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin / Harry Osborn.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about this?
I loved him. I thought he was phenomenal.
Mhm.
I think he like played like the double-sided guy, like the good and then the evil, like really well. Like that scene when he's like in the mirror, just like going back and forth. Like that guy can contort his face in all sorts of ways.
And they did that in one take. So special beginning. So it's not like he filmed the evil stuff and the good stuff. He would walk up, talking to me, you're doing evil. He'd throw his drink and then be like, "What do you want?" Like, so he did that in one scene, going good to bad.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think he the way he moves his face and like his eyebrows and stuff, he just makes himself like super creepy and like sometimes they'll like zoom in on his face and like he does like a weird like action shot. I thought he was phenomenal. I think he fit the role perfectly, like especially for like Green Goblin too. Like he totally fits that personality a hell of a lot better than Amazing Spider-Man. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Looks a lot better as well too.
Yes. Oh yeah, so much better.
Yeah, not that weird.
What'd you think, Kyle?
I actually really liked Willem Dafoe in this movie. I thought him and Peter were huge. Kind of like they had a lot of moments together, and even at the beginning, like everything was very quick paced. Like you got Peter's side, and then you also got the beginning of his kind of little origin, what he was going through too. So I really liked how they really incorporated that and made that into I guess what the movie was. What else did I like? He was just, the costume was really cool too.
Yes,
Just the,
I was gonna ask costume because comic book fans hate that costume.
Oh,
I love
really?
that costume.
I thought it was really cool. Like you try to make it more of, again, like the military is trying to buy our equipment, so this is why we have this and that.
Plus, this is early comic films.
Why
I
do
feel
people hate it?
Because they like the OG look of like, they didn't like the militized, like the armor. They like the OG look of like the Goblin and this and that. I do agree that there's footage which you can watch after this. There is footage of a mask that they made that looks like the comic Goblin, and it's like, it's one of those old school masks where you could put on your face and it would move with you. And when I did see it, because apparently there was rumors about that and people said, oh, they should have went with that, and the video came out last year. I like the mask. They should have went with that because it looks like OG Goblin and it looks really creepy and it would have been fun on his face. But I didn't mind the look because one, early comic films, they're changing it up, and two, I don't know, I liked it. I liked the green armor. Like you said, it was very militarized. Like,
and because it wasn't like CGI, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes, but like most of the time,
it was practical.
Yeah, practical. And he just, the way it like plays off of Spider-Man's like color and like I guess just like the brightness of his suit. Yeah, they work really well together.
Well, even with the mask that I was talking about, like it didn't look 100%. We haven't got the episodes yet, but in the animated series, like when you guys get there, that costume is strange to pull off because it's like a skin tight sort of mask, and he wears hat. Like I don't know how the costume would have looked in real life, but I still want to see it eventually. But like for this, I liked it. He looks Goblin enough. Yeah. He works in the army and stuff like that. So to me, I've always liked it. And I like them both. Like
I think this is probably my first Green Goblin costume that I could picture. So to me, like I don't have that perspective. I guess for me, it's just like a badass looking suit. Right?
Yeah, and to me, I like them both. Like I like this, but if they do a future,
and the yellow eyes,
I don't
which
like.
You can like retract and stuff.
Yeah, like I'm not a biggest fan of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 one, but like there's other looks like the classic look I'd be down to see eventually. But in this time, I liked it. It was something they did. It was probably easier for Dafoe to do, and it's a strange. The OG one's a little strange looking. So
I found it was creepy though when I was a kid though watching it. And
yeah, I found that face was creepy.
Well, because they also do like the zoom in shots on the mask too, like at the end of the movie, I think too.
Yeah.
So, and then he had like just like in the I guess Hobgoblin in the animated show, he has all sorts of crazy items. Like he has that one bomb that just vaporizes the people into skeletons.
Yeah,
that's fucking brutal, man. That's like next level. That was great. I love that scene.
Yeah, like this is for viewers right now, or for listeners. That's what Green Goblin looks like.
Right.
And that's what I mean, where it's like, I think back then they kind of looked like, that's a little hard to pull off. Like, that's what he looks like in comic. I think nowadays they could, but even then, like,
I
I don't know what you do.
The movie
with that.
though itself, I don't think would have warranted a look like that.
No, and
It's
especially
like, this is like a pretty good like go happy type of like good feeling film when you
Right.
watch it. Like I didn't. Yeah, it was creepy, but it wasn't like taken away of like that edginess, and it's definitely a product of its time
Yeah.
of like early 2000s.
like I could see that now
Yeah.
because now we're just so used to everything looking exactly like the comic books, right?
Yeah.
So if they announce, hey, Green Goblin Homecoming 2,
Yeah.
I think now people should expect that, but in such an early day, I didn't understand. Like I like this, and I still like the suit for what it is.
Yeah.
Like I like. It
I
a
could
lot.
even see that because, like I said, I haven't seen the third one yet, but I hear it's really dark, and the second one is even quite a bit like more darker and serious in tone. I could even see like a suit like that working like later in the series, right?
It's-
If like that one didn't happen.
Just waiting on the
Yeah.
third one and you see what the suit is. It's so disappointing. Because to
Can't
spoil
wait.
something, they go through these suits that could be used, and there's this really cool version of the Goblin suit, and then like move over, and it's like, oh, we're not using that one. That's just a prop. And then what is used is not good. But yeah, I piggyback on you guys. Defoe kills it. He's one of my favorite villains of all time. Not just comic book, like villains in this movie. Because one, his performance as just Norman is good. Because they do a good job of making you care about him. They don't make him just a full on. At the end, he gets worse. But at the beginning, it's not. I'm a bad guy, 100%. They make him actually have motives of he's built up this company up. People are trying to take it away from him. He does some shady stuff. He kills some people. But when he gets rid of those people, they say like, oh, he says like, oh, all the stocks are up, everything like this. Like, stock's never been higher. We've made all this money. And then they're like, yeah, that's why we're going to sell the company. And it's like, he's worked his whole life to build this, and now all the board people want to sell it and take away from him. So, and people might say, oh, that's petty. He's getting money. But to him, the company's more important than money. It's the name Oscorp, right? So
Yeah,
to
you
me,
made
they
it, right.
give a little motive where that's where many villains to me, especially in the Marvel movies, which I love most of them, but lots of them are just, this is a bad guy, wants to kind of destroy the world for some reason, let's move along. Where this is like, people keep screwing him over, and I like in the film, he starts as Norman, you can tell he's a flawed guy. As the movie goes on, you can see him progress to get worse and worse and worse. Where I feel like in the movie, he started as a genuine, trying to be a good person. You can see with Peter when he, like one of my favorite scenes is the one he has with Peter at the graduation. It's at the cost of Harry because he pushes Harry aside, but he's still like reaching out to Peter, like saying, "Hey, I know you had a tough year. I know you lost your uncle, but like it's gonna get better as long as you keep working." Like he comes off as a genuine good person, and that's what I like. Whether and that you can debate, maybe he's just like using people, but they don't make it black and white. They make it, you could decide if he's a shit person or if he's a good person. I think he's a good person who just ends up getting really bad. And at the end, he's not a good person. He's completely gone. But I think he does that so good.
You have to factor in, too, that he inserted something into his body.
Yeah.
Fucks up his
Yeah.
thought processes.
Well, we talked about a few months ago, but that's why the villain of Iron Fist, Warren Meacham, reminded me very much of him. That whole thing, like, oh, there's, the shady guy, you don't know if he's good or bad. So I love him in this movie. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I like this more than the second one, because I love Doc Ock, but there's something about, I like him as Norman, I like him as Green Goblins, and I think he ties to the story a much more fluent and flows better than Doc Ock. Doc Ock does, they bring him in a good way, but he has that connection to Harry, which we get in James Franco right now. I think they have a good, chemistry together, and this is one of the first performances I saw of James Franco when I was younger. I think he's really good in this. I really like James Franco. My problem is nowadays, he kind of just plays funny, comedic James Franco, which is great. I still love that, but I don't feel like he doesn't really do too much dramatic acting anymore. Where in this, and especially the second one, I feel he does a good job at playing Peter's like kind of more together friend. Like he's not cooler, but he's not as awkward as Peter. You can tell he's a bit more socialized. Like the scene where he walks up to MJ and he's stealing all of Peter's lines. Like, oh, like the spider is 10 times bigger than this one. And it's like really. I love that Peter's just in the background, like watching.
It's like wow, that actually would have worked.
Yeah, I like that Harry kind of has this like kind of the swagger that his dad does, but he's not as much as a dick as him, which that kind of progresses. But I really like James Franco in this. I think he plays a good like best friend to Peter. So much more than the Amazing Spider-Man, where it's just like, hey, we're best friends. Oh, we are? Yep. And like this, it's like, you can tell they've been friends for a while.
I honestly, like, I kind of had a little bit of that, where, like, even go back, like, the animated show as well, where you don't really see that a whole lot, and I didn't feel like they showed a whole lot of that either, of them being
friends?
Yeah, like...
Well, the first thing you meet Peter and Harry,
but I feel like there's a difference between, like, them walking around Oscorp and, like, just talking to each other if you were there, and, like, being just like best friends, I guess. I don't know, because that's like the only scene they had together. And I guess that like there's only so much time in a movie to show.
No, they had
At the
more
beginning,
scenes.
where,
They
like,
had those scenes together, and then they had the scenes where they moved in together. Because remember when Norman's there and he's checking on them for rent? So they had those scenes when Peter's like, hey, that girl, like, who are you seeing and everything like that. And then they have the scenes at Thanksgiving. It's awkward, but they have these scenes at Thanksgiving. So they do have more scenes throughout the films together as friends.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was like their chemistry or something. For me, like, I didn't totally buy it. But I liked his character enough. And I've always liked James Franco. I'm a fan of him. So, yeah, I liked his, like, more emotional, dramatic role. Just because it's something that you don't really, like you said, you don't see it much from him anymore.
Not much anymore, no.
And I remember this role, like I still remember this from back in the day. Like I always thought he did like really well in this movie, and you always like bought it. And like you just see him as a comedic guy these days, but obviously like he has the ability to, be more emotional and understand him more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for myself, I really like James Franco in this. I think he did a really good job. Again, like he really touched with the relationship with Peter, also with his own dad as well too, of how you could tell right away. Travis said it, how Willem Dafoe was talking to, or I guess Harry's dad was talking to oh my god.
At graduation.
At
when
graduation,
when he says to Harry, it's like, well, you made it. And he says, congrats. And he shakes his hand, and then he like...
You can see like some, just connection betwing the two there, and then even a little bit of jealousy from a Harry side for sure. But then you can tell they're still friends. Like Harry is the kind of the cooler one. Like even at the beginning of when Harry starts getting all of his powers, and I mean, oh my goodness, I'm getting this all mixed up.
Well, you can say Harry gets his power. I just think Harry Potter is.
Yeah, that's true.
You're a goblin, Harry.
When Peter starts getting his powers, and he's at the school and he's fighting, and MJ comes up to Harry and he's like, isn't that your friend?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Shouldn't you like help him? He's like, well, yeah. And then he's like, wait, which one? Because like
he does the back.
Does the double backflip or whatever it was. But still, there's a lot of moments of that I find in the film.
Right.
I don't know. I think James Franco did a good job overall again. So
yeah,
that's really just it.
J. Jonah Jameson. Perfection. He in all these movies kills it. He's exactly ripped from the animated show. He's exactly ripped from the comics. There's no better person to play him. I always worry for the person that they'll cast after. Same thing as Green Goblin. I always worry about those two because it's like it's tough when someone like perfects a role, especially like Jonah. You're not gonna do like a different take on him. So he's just fantastic. I think
super one-dimensional character, and I mean I love the lines they give him too. Like a lot of really good one-liners from him. Yeah, it's a bit like very snappy and like fast too.
And I think in this and the second one, and I probably mentioned the third one, I think they use him just enough in all of them. Like obviously it's different because the animated show, but we've talked a couple times where some episodes it's like there's too much Jonah in here. Where this is like I feel like they sprinkle him in, he's gone for like half an hour. They sprinkle him in,
like it's gone. Always like, he's a guy who like runs a news company, and sometimes it seems like he's like a mob boss or something. Like all the information he has and all the contacts he has. But in this movie, like there's nothing other to say other than like complete perfection. Like that's what you want from that role. You nailed it.
It was great. I totally, again, full retrospective of just like kind of remember seeing that, and this actually goes back to one of our D&D podcasts with Liam and why you voted him, Travis.
Top 25 performances. I put him at number 11. These two are like, he's not that good. It's so small. Like, but I'm like, he's perfect. We're gonna do a part 2 of that this year, but like. That because we need to reevaluate some stuff like that. I think we need to reevaluate that one. I fought so hard for it. He's so good in the movie.
Like rewatching the movie, he definitely killed it. It was amazing. Even just even from the comic books as well too. Not the comic books, from the animated series that we watched. Like it's very to the T type thing. I feel like it's maybe a little bit better actually.
I think so. I think the cartoon one's sometimes a little too over the top. Where this They flesh him out just enough. There's a scene we'll get to later where they flesh him out just enough. I'll bring him now. When Goblin comes and storms over the whole thing and he asks, like, hey, like, who gives you the pictures for Spider-Man? And he doesn't give Peter up. I think there's actually moments like that in the animated show, but, like, in this it still comes off that he's kind of a little of a good person who's just kind of a dick. Where the animated show, sometimes it feels like he's just an awful person. Like, we've talked about many times where he's just literally just trying to kill Spider-Man. He's created
without saying that word.
He's to destroy lethal force. So Aunt May,
Aunt May. What to say about Aunt May? Kind of boring.
I'll say maybe it's because the second one, I think I like her a lot more than that, but I think she's perfect, actually. Like, I think out of the only one we've seen so far, I'm not counting Civil War, I think they connect much, much better than Andrew Garfield and Sally Field
I'll
did.
give you that for sure.
Yeah,
I think she's just like, she doesn't like do anything.
No.
And I don't really think she's supposed to.
No.
So I guess in that sense, like, she's supposed to be a boring character, and she kind of is.
But I like that she's kind of, in this and the next one, even the third one, she plays Peter's moral compass without overbearing the plot. Like we talked about, you'll see it, Amazing Spider-Man 2, that terrible hospital scene with Sally Field. It's like, to me, they never overemphasize Aunt May. They do the same thing as Jonah, just enough to be perfect. And I feel like, to me, I guess it's just, I feel like she, to me, in the movie, feels like his aunt. Where Sally Field, for me, never really felt like that. I felt like they had a good connection. I feel like, oh, she's cared for this kid her whole life, and it is. And, like, when Uncle Ben dies, I love the conversation they have in his bedroom about how they both wish he was there. Like, I think the powerful scenes they have together really, really make me like Aunt May. So that's why I love her, and I don't actually think, for me, anyone's going to ever top her. So,
really?
Yeah, I think she's that good. I think I really, really like her in all these movies. So.
She definitely has the look down. Like, I don't think Sally Field quite fit the look, and obviously the new Aunt May, they're going for something different, which fine with me, I guess. But like, she definitely has the right look, and like just the right voice and the way she portrays herself.
For me, Aunt May, I guess didn't really stand out, so I don't really have much on her. Sorry, Travis.
I stand alone.
I think you're right. Like she gets better. I would say she gets better in the second one.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's a bit more for her to do.
Yeah, for sure. For this is just kind of like her kind of just dealing with Peter, but then Peter's also you don't really see her because Peter's not living with her anymore.
Yeah.
Right, kind of just goes back to like, hey, like how's it going? Kind of just like an update on life.
Yeah.
But
that's what I kind of like though. Yeah. That's always my worry when they cast like, oh, we've cast Marissa Tomei in this Academy Award winner. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a lot of Aunt May scenes, and it's like I love Aunt May a lot. I think that's why I guess maybe I like her a lot because they use her goodness. That's always my worry. They're gonna use her a lot in Homecoming, where it's like she's all the damsel of distress and this and that. Where it's like even in this movie, she's the damsel of distress, but it's not even. Gollum doesn't kidnap her. He just kind of does it to show, like, send a message to him. You know, like don't fuck with me. I almost killed your aunt. Like I can do more, and that's what I like. It's not like he had. They could have easily made that finale Aunt May and MJ, but I like that he did it as like a diversion to get Mary Jane. So I guess that's it too. I just like how she's used in these. It's like same way as animated series. Yeah. Oh, Peter's gone. Peter, you're home. Like we don't see that much of her. We just know they love each other. It's great. You know.
And then every once in a while there's an episode where she's in danger.
Yeah, or MJ and her hanging out. Talking about
she's at the hospital.
MJ and her best friends.
Insidious 6 kidnapping her, you know, stuff like that. So, Uncle Benny, still unless we refer to him as.
When did I do that?
You've called him many times Uncle Benny.
Have I?
I think
just over the time.
Do you remember me doing that?
I think our first take you called him Uncle Benny.
And you always said...
I thought you said that.
No, and you always go, Uncle Benny.
I don't think I've done that.
Reflection on it.
I want you to go through the archives and edit together a scene of me doing that. When I watch this episode back, I will hear all those times I've done that.
I don't know if
I don't think I've done that once.
I think you've done that at least once.
Maybe just once.
Yeah.
But okay, if it was just once, then I'll give it to you. Then I would forfeit that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple times. But what did you think about Uncle Ben?
Uncle Benny? Yeah. No. You know what? He was good. I think I like... I'm trying to compare him to Amazing Spider-Man, Uncle Ben. And I honestly, I'd say they're like almost the exact same to me, actually.
See, and I liked him better here too. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Do you like it? Maybe just the age difference that they're a little bit, you know.
A little,
when
maybe.
When you think of an aunt and uncle, they're almost like a grandparent, but
for sure. Maybe that's it. I connect more with them, and I like Cliff Robinson too, the actor, better than I like Mark Sheen. Cliff Robinson was a very talented, iconic Hollywood actor back in the day.
He didn't just I guess he didn't blow me away, and he only has he's not in it for a whole lot like that. No. They, obviously, like we were talking about earlier, they get through the origin story aspect of Spider-Man fairly quickly. So he probably dies. He dies in the first hour, probably. right?
45 minutes,
45 minutes
maybe.
Yeah. But I do like his relationship, with Peter. It seems like he understands that. Obviously, doesn't know all of what Peter's going through, but he understands that he's like in a point in his life where there's a lot of change and figuring out who you are. And I like his commentary on that I guess, the development of Peter.
I just like the little scenes where it's like he's looking for a job and he's like, what are they got? He's like, computer salesman, computer technician, computer. It's like
analyst.
Yeah.
Analyst
Like
for
computers.
I'm too old
Like,
for computers.
yeah, like I liked that. I like just little stuff when he's like, hey, Michelangelo. Like he felt for me not like, and that's where I felt like with Sally Field, he didn't feel like a movie uncle. He felt like an uncle I would have. You know, like he felt like that type.
Right.
And like to me, I didn't cry this time. But I think his death scene was much more impactful than Amazing Spider-Man. Because that's more Garfield yelling, like, someone get the ambulance. He's already dead when Garfield gets to him. I like that he's in pain. He sees Peter. You can tell he's in pain, but he, like, smiles a little. And then he just says Peter twice, and he just dies. I think it's heartbreaking. That scene, to me, is so sad. Much more than Amazing Spider-Man. So I think for me, it's, again, like, the use of him, you know? It's, like, it's just enough that you like him enough that he's taken away, so you understand why like Peter is like missing him, right? So,
Oh, I was wondering, is Bonesaw like a comic book character?
no, I don't.
I think he just made it up.
There's like a wrestler, but I don't think his name was Bonesaw.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you? Is he
I
in the
was
cast?
I was just wondering.
He is
like,
an actual wrestler. Oh yeah, the Macho Man.
Yeah, but like, but wait, does Randy he go by Bonesaw?
No. He goes
Yeah.
by the Macho Man,
Yeah.
Randy Savage,
Yeah.
one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. R.I.P. But yeah, he did not go by Bonesaw, but he spoke like that when he did,
I've
that's
seen,
Macho
I've seen
Man.
videos
Oh,
of him and stuff.
yeah,
but
that's
I was
amazing.
just wondering if Bonesaw. I could see them just picking that out of like, even if it was just from one like series or one comic book.
There's no wrestler I know,
Yeah.
but I guarantee you if I put someone from a comic will pop up. We'll do that at the end. We'll see.
Cool.
What about you and Uncle Ben?
Yeah, again, I guess I've never really thought much about Uncle Ben since we didn't
Wow, you
see
bastard.
much of him.
You buy
But
his
he
rice
did, but
every week.
hey, but we did like have that the classic like with great power comes great responsibility line.
Yeah.
Like
That does come up a
3-4
couple
times, yeah. But it was still really good. That always just kind of just I guess just takes you back and really like affirms Peter of what he's doing. So. Or I guess as Spider-Man, but no,
Spider-Man.
otherwise he did a good job. His death scene was pretty upsetting, but
Upsetting.
I guess like because you do like
Broke me.
go in depth quite a bit more with him and Peter actually having a fight, and you know what I think what I have problems with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man as Peter, like he seemed kind of a bitch
Yeah.
when him and Uncle Ben were fighting. Meanwhile, this Peter's just like. Not so much. He's just kind of awkward and just going through so much that he doesn't know what to. I felt like he dealt.
Yeah,
with
like,
it.
It's
I
almost
feel-
more of like a disappointment thing rather
Yeah.
than like a rage thing. Or
Yeah,
something.
where I
And
feel, and
Uncle
that's
Ben was
the
like
times
so
too.
mad. He's like, I kind of I understand where he's coming from, type thing.
Yeah, like with Garfield to me when he said like some negative stuff towards Uncle Ben, it felt like he was taking shots at him.
Yeah.
Where like when Peter says like stop trying to be my dad, it feels like it's just like word vomit, and you can tell like it looks like Peter regrets it right away. Where Andrew Garfield does kind of like slink off, and he's like hoodie up, and he's just like he's my life, I'm Peter Parker. The original wrestler back in the day was called Crusher Hogan from the comics, aka Joseph Hogan.
Crusher
So,
Hogan.
That's who the character was based off, who Spider-Man beat in the wrestling match. So there you go, folks.
Fun fact.
I guess we've talked about all cast. Do we want to start going notes and everything like that?
Sure.
I talked about score. We can bring that up.
Yes, I really like the music. I think so many comic book movies these days, it's almost like they found like their stride or like what it should be, and then they just put that in there, and they're like, okay, we'll move on to other stuff.
Yeah.
And whereas this, you can tell that the movie was like, or the music rather, was handcrafted for this movie. A lot of it like lines up with him like crawling up walls or doing certain action scenes, and so for me, it was unique. It was something special. And it was something that's like
He has an actual theme. Too.
It's
which
theme
I miss.
and
Like that's
it's
why
memorable. So I loved it in that regard because it's actually like an original soundtrack. It feels like whereas so many comic book movies, technically have an original soundtrack, but it might as well not be, right?
Yeah, like the good thing is I'm hoping they've cast a few, or they've hired a bit more people in the future that are more good as far as the score sites. I'm hoping that changes. But, like, next to The Dark Knight for me, this is tied. And, like, if you were to have an argument, you could maybe, win me over that this is the best superhero soundtrack of all, or the score of all time. I love the score from the opening credits, the way it's, like, showing all the spiders and whatnot, the emotional scenes. I listened to the score multiple times. Yeah, so for me, it's one of the best, if not the best, superhero score. Danny Elfman's amazing. He's done lots of great stuff. He did like he didn't do, sorry. Superman did the Batman theme back in the days, worked with Tim Burton many times. And like you said, it feels like it's handcrafted, it's made. It feels like, okay, we're going to make this movie, let's think about some music as well. Where lots of times it does sometimes feel like, hey, we have a movie, what music fits best with this? You know, instead of let's create music for this. And that's
going through his iTunes, like, oh, this would work.
Yeah,
well,
like,
actually,
I like
was
this
watching
guy.
a video on that, and in a lot of cases, you know, like editors or directors, whoever's like putting the movie together, they'll put like a soundtrack from another movie on theirs, and then they'll like get in like a composer or something and say, hey, I want something like this, and so they pretty much just like copy whatever they're copying it from. So it's like barely even an original soundtrack. Yeah, or to me, this I really, and that's why I do good or bad. However the movie turns out. With Wonder Woman, I like she has a theme, you know, like you can recognize.
Yeah, I honestly want that. We got that with little Black Panther and Civil War, right? Like I want that more. I want every superhero to have their own unique theme. I don't want just like generic action music. So I love the score, and I think the score is even better in the second one too. So yeah, I love the score.
That was one of the first things I have on my list is that I enjoyed the score and how, again, like, it's really fitted to the character and what he's doing, and it's not just listening to a music soundtrack, really, which I find is. Don't get me wrong, I love Guardians. I love all the music in Guardians. But
different case.
It's different case. But like that's just going back to like you have all these. Oh, I know the song. Like, great song type thing. Where like this was really fitted to like the mood of what was happening at that point. More of just instrumental than just a song. So that's what I really enjoyed. About
because there's not a lot of like straight up songs in these movies. So I can't really recall.
No,
there's like one.
There's a few in Amazing Spider-Man. Remember they were not using the greatest.
I think the second one, like second Spider-Man, has like a couple. Like there's like one when he's like super happy and there's like some
raindrops.
Raindrops. And I don't think there was. Maybe one or two in this movie.
They're used sparingly.
Like just in like obviously like, the credits have a couple, and then also after the very last song in the credits is the OG Spider-Man theme. I don't know if you guys stick around. Yeah, like the classic ones. So I like that as well.
I like you talking about music. I do love that guy when they're showing all the montage of Spider-Man like saving people throughout the city.
Oh yeah,
and like there's a goth girl, and she's like 8 arms. Sounds hot.
Yeah.
Like, could be a man, could be. And then I love like the looks like a spider, dresses like a bug, and he says we can all give just one big hug, and he's like, look out! Ooh.
I love that scene because it was so cheesy.
Here comes the spider, man. Yeah, I love that. See, and that's where it's in my notes somewhere. But I love there's a hero montage with people. Just a quick thing of. Yeah, we're seeing him just save a bunch of people. We're seeing headlines of always say this bank robber, this and that. I really like that establishing that he's trying to do good for people, everything like that. So we already touched upon it a bit. I just talked about I really like the dynamic of Harry and Peter Norman. I said that I hope that if this happens in movies again, I want that in like the MCU, but over multiple films. Because in this movie, I think for the day and age, it was right for spoilers to kill Norman, but like. I would love to see this progress over multiple movies because I like that dynamic, and it's good in the animated show too. I like the throughway dynamic of Peter's kind of missing a dad, so he's like Norman's kind of a surrogate dad for a while, and he looks at Peter the way he'd want Harry to be, kind of right, and then Harry looks at Peter like, oh, I wish I could have got that love from my dad. So I like the whole, and there's something at the end when. Even though he's a bit more evil, when he's like, oh, I'm going to rectify all these wrongs and I haven't been the greatest father towards you, and he's talking to Harry. And that's why it's great, because Harry's last moment with his dad is this really counseling moment of him telling him, hey, I'm going to make things better. And the next time he sees him, he's dead. So, of course, that's why he's like overly mad.
Well, that's one thing I really liked about Norman and Harry is even from their very first scene together, he's dropping him off at like Oscorp, and they have a conversation in the car, and they tells
him to drop around the corner because he doesn't want to be seen.
There's like tension between them, and that's always there. Obviously, like in the like Thanksgiving scene as well. Like you can always tell there's like some tension going on between them.
Yeah,
and so it doesn't really get resolved, right? Like because his dad dies, and he feels like it's undeserved, and that's really what fuels him for I guess the rest of this movie and then into the second one as well.
Yeah.
And then I guess even the third one, which I haven't seen, I imagine it continues there.
It does.
So I like that. I really like the dynamic between those two.
Well, and that's
Father,
what we were
son.
talking about even with Amazing Spider-Man, where like with Andrew Garfield felt like very one-sided with him and Uncle Ben, like he's really mad at him. Like you get Norman pressuring Harry, but then like I said, that scene where he is like, "Hey, drop me off the corner. I don't want to be seen."
Mhm.
And Norman's kind of like, "Well, I've worked my entire life to like give you this stuff, and you're just like." I don't want to be seen with it. You know, like even when he brings his bag, he's just doing a good father thing. Like, oh, you forgot your bag, and he's like, oh, here comes my dad. You know,
Yeah.
and he's just like, and Peter's even like, well, like he seems like a nice guy. You know, and I like the scene at the. I love the Thanksgiving scene so much in this movie. Like movies and TV shows just kill Thanksgiving scenes. Like Dexter has a great Thanksgiving scene. Like this, I think is fantastic. But I love. Like, it has this, like, I'm going to talk about right now. I love Norman in the scene because he's late. He's very cheerful in the scene. I love when everyone's looking away. He meets MJ for the first time. He has this look of disgust on his face. And then when she sees him looking at him, he's like he's trying to play off because then later on he reveals that he's like, this girl you shouldn't be with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, so this happens. He goes off because we'll talk about the reveal later, but him and Harry get in this fight of this yelling thing. He just says, like, your mother was beautiful. They're all beautiful till they're, like, barking after your trash run. Like,
and even, like,
pack
he's
of
like,
rabbit holes.
sharpening the knife at the table.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
So, but the thing is, him and Harry have this argument, and he just tells her to do what she wants with her and then broom her fast. And when he closes the elevator, he goes, and then MJ, he walks back in. MJ's like, thanks for sticking up for me, Harry. And then I love that in that scene, Harry's like, well, you know what? I hope that I'm half the man he is. So it's like he just had this huge fight with his dad, and you kind of get this vibe that he's like maybe hates his dad or dislikes his dad, but right there he defends him.
Still looks up to him.
Yeah, and that's where so many other movies I feel it's one note, like not just superhero movies, but some movies get that wrong where it's just like, yeah, I just hate my dad. But it shows like to me like him and his dad has this flawed relationship. But even in that moment where he just trashed the girl he loved, he's still defending his dad because he still wants that approval. And I love their dynamic, and I just love the dynamic of Peter and Norman. It's always good. Like there's even photos of them like together and whatnot. So I love it. That's why I just put. I wish in the MCU if they do that, I'd like to see that like over multiple movies because it was a great. I love that storyline so much in this. So
nice.
I think we missed a key point. Or a key one is the Spider-Man kiss with him and MJ.
What do you mean missed? We
haven't even talked about it yet.
Well, bring it up.
I'm bringing it up. Let's go.
There's a lot of things we haven't talked about.
If
We're going in a very strange
We're missing
order.
everything.
If I said give your final rating, then you could say, "Hey, we missed it," but we haven't
Whatever.
even talked. You will
Anyways.
start us off with the.
We,
kiss.
I mean, at every anime episode, we spend a solid amount of time talking about what's going on with MJ and Felicia. So.
Yeah.
It's
That was
true.
the time.
That was the time. That's the classic. Like when I think of Spider-Man and MJ, like that is like what I see, and I feel like that's a really take home, and it's very like, memorable.
Memorable.
Thank you.
Memorable. That's what
I think it's those moments. That's the thing that I love seeing all the heroes team up in Avengers, but I feel like those kind of do take over. It's like we don't need memorable moments because we have this. We have Iron Man and Cat fight, which I appreciate. That's great. I'm never gonna complain.
Yeah.
But I feel like we do miss out on some solo iconic moments like this because. Other than Batman, I don't think I can name a character that has some moment like this that matches Spider-Man. Of like instant, I could name you this moment and that silhouette of them kissing. That is like the classic. It's not because there's nostalgia. It's just like when to me when I think of Spider-Man, that's one of the first things I do think about is that because it's perfect. Of like he's kissing this girl he loves. He's upside down.
rain,
Like like it's just iconic, you know. And to me, I don't think we see that anymore. Like even as a kid when I was watching it. It was like, oh, I'm going to remember this scene forever, you know, because it's so well done. Where nowadays, there's some good scenes here and there, but I think that was just like an instant classic scene where that just still holds the test of time. It's still very good. The image of them kissing upside down is weird because Tobey Maguire's mouth looks like a horse because it's reverted, so it's strange, but it all works. It's
his
great.
chin is like on her nose.
Yeah, but
kinda
it's strange, but it works. It's great, right? You know, even though once again MJ in that scene, I know why she's kissing a guy while she has a boyfriend. You know, so like that's her. I don't think she's the greatest character.
Oh, she's a little iffy, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anything more?
We should talk more about MJ. I want to hear what you have to say because you said you have like various moments to point out.
Well, that was one of them to me. Was the kiss? So she's with Harry, dating Harry, 100%, and then she just kisses Spider-Man. I don't care.
Well,
She
so, yeah.
sexually says like.
Well, that's another thing that like we were talking about earlier. How I was kind of confused about Harry and like Peter's relationship. Because if they were best friends and they were their whole life, why would Harry date?
He never made a move. That's what he says to him. Remember?
But is that something his best friend would do? You didn't make a move, like I don't think so.
But then Peter admits it though. He says, "You're right. I didn't make a move." So like, but the thing is, I didn't take it.
Like if they were best friends, he wouldn't have done that.
I feel like
right?
he just felt shady about it because he didn't tell him in the first. Like he found out through Willem Dafoe.
No, he found it through the photo. Remember, he was looking at the festival. He's looking up, taking pictures, and then he saw him on the balcony. And Harry's like, "Oh, let's go inside." So, but at the same time,
I thought he knew about it at that point.
No, he knew about it at that point.
No, 100% he didn't.
He definitely knew.
I'm pretty sure, like,
No.
Okay.
That was the first time he'd seen them in person, but he saw them somewhere or heard about it.
Oh no, you're right, because there's that scene in the diner when he bumps into her after work, and he's like, she says something about, didn't Harry tell you me and him are going out, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's the first time he sees them in person. You're right, with the camera, but like,
nice.
Yeah, good job, you two. Points for those guys. I think I've lost now that I'm wrong. I'm not used to being wrong, folks, so I'm lost. What the fuck?
Well, I was talking about, would Harry do that?
Oh,
if they're best
yes,
friends?
because I feel like
of course.
The school scene, I think, is establishing that they both really like MJ. That's where, to me, it was fine.
Okay.
Because it wasn't a like, hey, imagine if Peter just had that camera scene with her, and then the next time we met MJ was like, oh, her and Harry going out. But you could tell Harry liked her after Flash dumped her, after they broke up. Harry's watching, so you can tell he probably went and consoled her or talked to her. Mm-hmm. So the classic Harry Osborn from the animated series. But like, I think it's fine because they were both interested in her. You know, they were both tried their moves on her, and he just got there further. But that's my problem with MJ.
But he knows that Peter is like a nervous, kind of awkward guy, and
that's why
he feels like MJ is like popular.
Yeah, and I think
in
that's
this
why
movie.
he feels a little guilty.
That's why he never told him about MJ in the first place.
Yeah,
he's like, well, Peter was kind of interested in her, but he didn't make a move.
Yeah, because that's the thing. What if
like Peter doesn't make moves?
But Peter
not that kind of guy.
But
he needed the spicy sting in order to get that.
Hey Harry, like I really like MJ. I'm thinking about dating her. Like, what should I do? It's like, well, have you talked to her? No.
But like, and from Harry's perspective too, that's not a good excuse if he likes MJ, but he's like, oh, maybe Peter might make a move. He's been waiting for years. He even says it to him, like, for years you did nothing. So I felt like he knew that maybe Peter liked her, and he was waiting for him to make a move, and he never did. What is Harry supposed to do? Never ever make a move if he does like her too? I think he was like, you know what? I might give my buddy this one, and we get to see that a bit more in 2.
The one thing I'd say is like, I feel like if Harry asked Peter, hey, is it okay? Peter would probably say it's okay just because. I don't know if he would. No, I think he would just because of like his awkwardness. Like he would feel bad if he didn't, right? I could see him saying.
But would he say it because he felt that way, or would he say yes for it not to be awkward? Like, yeah, you could, well, yeah, but see, that's still. I think they'd still be in the exact same place.
I don't know. I think that scene could have helped.
I think they'd be in the exact same place.
You didn't need it.
I don't think they needed the exact same place where MJ, I think, kind of treats Harry like trash, to be honest. Because up in that scene where they meet Norman, she's kind of a jerk to him. There's one moment where they're on the balcony, and he's like, oh, I thought you were going to wear the black dress.
Oh, and then he like goes to kiss?
Yeah, and he's like, and she's like, well, I like the red one. And he's like, well, my dad kind of likes black. And he's like, well, and then she's like, well, you think I'm pretty, don't you? And then he goes, I think you're beautiful. And he leans over to kiss her, and she just turns away, and it's like, what the fuck? And then wait, let me make this one other point. And then after the attack, he's calling her, and he's like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, let's go out tomorrow. Like, I want to buy you something. Like, when he's like, I want to buy you something. And he's like, okay, don't let the bed bugs. And she just hangs up on him. Like, I get you could be fighting, but like, she seems just really rude.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Because, you know, that was kind of rude for him to say, oh, you shouldn't have worn that. Like, that's kind of rude to say.
True, but at the end of the day, he does just kind of say she's right, because he's like, you think I'm pretty. If he would have been like, yeah, I just still really wish you wore the black, he's like, no, I think you're beautiful. So he doubled down of like, you know what, I wish you wore the black, but I still think you're beautiful. So he kind of admits to what she's saying when she's like...
I could still see her being like,
I think
you know what, I'm gonna fuck you a little bit. Like, I'm not that mad, but it's like, that's kind of...
What about the just hanging up on him in the middle of the phone? If your girlfriend did that too, you'd be like, wow.
Because that's not very heartfelt. Just say, oh, I'm just going to buy you something. Like, he
feels bad. He's also awkward in his own right.
I feel like if you really care about her, just like, and you want to prove that you really like her, maybe say something more heartfelt, or like say, "Oh, I'll take you to like your favorite park or wherever the fuck." Like, don't say, "I'm gonna go buy you something." Like, that's just kind of
He did
that's
ask
just
if
like
she's
that just kind of
okay,
makes it
though.
feel like, "Oh, I can buy your happiness." Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm playing devil's advocate here.
and that's
I'm
no.
kind of 50-50. Like, I feel like it could
I
go
am
either
with
way.
you, but I think she's just a little too rude for the love
I would
interest of
agree.
Peter.
I would agree.
That's
Okay,
my problem.
I'm just gonna jump on this as well too. I
Jump
think it's
it.
just Peter and Mary. They have like this weird like
Mary Jane.
Mary
Say-
Jane.
say-
Mary
it
Jane.
sounds weird when you say
Yeah, I did.
Or say MJ. Don't just say
Yeah,
Mary.
Peter-
That's for a second. I was like, who the fuck's
Next they're gonna
Mary?
call her like Jane. I'm like, who the fuck is Jane?
When you said Mary, I just thought of Mary from Dumb and Dumber.
So Peter and MJ, they do have a couple moments that like she wants Peter to ask her out, really, and I feel like that's why she always like.
well,
I see. I
maybe not at that
agree.
point. Later on, yes.
Yeah.
At
I
first,
feel
I feel like there's quite a few scenes
she
where
like
she's
feels
like,
bad for him,
still
but like,
not
they're
into
still
it.
talking like even that.
See, I feel like we don't get that till the second one. I feel like at the end of this movie is the moment because before that, at that point, she's in love with Spider-Man, right? It's not until Goblin kidnaps her where she realizes she's in love with Peter. So I think it's not till the very end of the movie where she wants to, and good on her, she makes the move, which doesn't happen too often. But I think it's more in 2 when she's waiting. I think this is she's looking over Peter. She doesn't see Peter yet.
I thought she like kind of like she like sees him even on the bus, like she sees that he's trying.
I think she feels bad for him. I don't think
Feels
she
bad.
because then there's that conversation of like, oh, you're not wearing glasses, you got cool eyes, something like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like she's like, oh, I like this guy. It just kind of feels like, oh, like, hey, Peter, how's it going?
See, that's what I got from that. So that's why
Oh,
I
you're
was,
wrong. No, I'm joking.
I think it's just how you interpret
I
it.
know. I'm completely joking.
What a dick.
I love in this movie classic Sam Raimi directed Evil Dead. He's a horror master. What?
No.
He's a horror master. I love the horror moments in this. Peter's transformation, I think, is kind of scary when he's in the bed and he's seeing all these flashes of Spider. Norman, when his transformation's happening, I think it's scary when he's just like seizuring, and then when he like wakes up and he's throwing the guy around, and when he just is back to formula. I love that line, and the moment too scared the ever living fuck out of me when I was a child. When Harry finds his dad sleeping after he transformed, he's like, "Where were you last night?" And he's like, "Last night I was," and it has that kind of like him going, "Rah!" And it's like really loud and really jumpy. When I saw it in the theaters, maybe the scariest thing I've ever seen, because you weren't expecting in this movie.
No, you
and
weren't.
at that point, I didn't know. Like, I wasn't a little film buff. I didn't know it was Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi did the Evil Dead series. He's known for very big cinematic jump scares, things like that. He's very good at horror. So I think this and the second one has a lot of mini horror element into it. And I think even the last fight scene with Goblin and Spider-Man has little horror elements. It's kind of creepy. I really like that fight scene because there's no score for most of it. It's just quiet. All you hear is just like Peter screaming while he's getting hit and getting thrown through walls. And to me, and even the way they present Goblin is scary. Where Doc Ock in the next one is not really scary. He's much more charismatic. I feel like there's a lot of horror moments in this, and that's what I like about this one. It has.
Was it the same director for the?
Yeah, all three. Yeah.
Okay.
Sam Raimi.
Interesting.
Sorry,
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Nothing else to say about that. What do you guys think of the like CGI and effects in general? I think
It looks very video game cutscene-y.
I would agree with that. It looks
Yeah.
a little dated, but not. It still holds up, I'd say.
You'll see dated when you get to Spider-Man 3 when they CGI a lot of Tobey when he's not wearing the mask. I think when they're in the costume, it's fine. I think the problem sometimes in 2 that happens with Doc Ock when you can see skin. I think in costumes when it's Goblin and Spider-Man, it's fine. It is a little dated, but to me, it's not. It's enough for me to see it, but it's not enough to ruin it for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it fits like I guess the theme or like more so the tone of the comic book movie, like where it was at this point in time, where it was more like cartoony and like action, bright colors and stuff like that.
Did you like it overall? Or?
Yeah, I did. I think there's only a couple points like when he was leaping from roof to roof. It looks a little weird, but overall, like I think we're in 2017. It's 15 years old. I think it looks pretty good for its time.
Yeah, I think for sure, like for its time, it was very well done, and like because you didn't know anything else. Kind of when you just slowly grow up with CGI, it slowly gets better and better.
Right.
Yeah.
At that you thinking it is so realistic. So I think kind of just going back and you're thinking, okay, this is when this movie was made, and kind of just take it for what it is. But still, it was. I didn't find it too bad. For myself, I found this suit to be more like CGI than I thought. I couldn't tell if he was wearing a suit or if it was just a CGI suit.
It's all when it's him. It's always a fabric suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was just for me. I had a hard time like trying to contrast, but that was really just it.
Yeah. We talked about like the comedicness of it, but I liked him finding out his powers, the climbing of the wall, him swinging for the first time when he swings into that fucking billboard and he just hits it and he slides down. I think it's very comedic, but it's very cinematic. I love the wall climbing scene. Like, I feel like sometimes with origin
stories... Like at the very beginning?
Yeah, I find just the way he slowly, and the way, like you said, the score when it's like, and when he speeds up, the score starts to speed up, like... Sometimes when people find out their powers nowadays, it's so quick. It's just like, oh, I have powers. They move along. Like
1 year later, as
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So like, I love that scene of him figuring out his powers. So
okay, yeah. So I had one like note here in particular. So here's the situation. I think this is somewhere. This is near like pretty much in one of the last scenes. It's at Norman's funeral, and they're all, the whole squad's there.
Yep.
And I get like Harry and MJ, obviously they work together, but now they're broken up at this point. And yet MJ is like over like making out with Peter, like at his father's funeral. Is that not like really fucked up?
Yeah.
I thought it was super fucked up.
I think so, because it's funny. I didn't think about this time, but I think I've had this conversation with somebody in the past, and that was another reason of me not loving Mary Jane, because it's the father of her ex, who still is they're still friendly after this movie, so one of her better friends' funeral, and she's just like, especially to this conversation with Peter.
And they're best friends too.
Yeah, like even then it's like, and in their world, her world, all she thinks is Norman's maybe close to Peter too, right? So you'd think, hey, maybe I'm not going to spring this on the day of the funeral. Maybe I'll wait a couple days. You know, he might.
Well, I think they even have like
lost
a
another
scene together at the graduation, like where she's watching them interact. So she clearly.
No, it comes off kind of scummy. It really does. Like she just looks like she doesn't have the greatest timing in the world.
Very bad timing.
Yeah. Speaking of a better scene, maybe you didn't like because of cardboard. I really like the backyard scene of Peter and MJ when they're talking about the school play and what they want to do growing up. Because not only do I think they have good chemistry, not only do they have good chemistry, I just like that they are trying their best to emphasize that they're still growing up. You know, like they're in high school. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Like, oh, I don't know. And like just the whole like, oh, you made me cry like a baby. And she's like, Peter,
that was super weird.
That was 6th grade. And he's like, even so, like. To me, I found those scenes really subtle and really charming, and I think they do have good chemistry together. Even though Mary Jane is a little strange sometimes, and even for you, Toad might be a little cardboard. I think their romantic scenes, and even the scenes when he talks to her after the diner, I think it's great because you really get this vibe that this is his crush, and he looks up to her.
I like in that scene how they have like a throwback to that. How she's like, "Oh, I have a audition or something."
Yeah.
And, like
Miss Watson, I'm talking to you.
Like,
hey.
And then the other funny part with that scene is like, somewhere at the end she's like walking away and he's like, "Let's get lunch some night."
Yeah,
and I love that little line.
Yeah,
so good.
Wrestling match doesn't even pin him to win the match. I get the reason, it's very fun. That whole match makes no sense. The whole way he gets paid out, the cage comes down. I don't really understand if it's fake or real. No one would question if it is real, why these cables are coming from his fucking hands. Like, it's so weird, but I love that I got to see Macho Man, so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cheesy.
And I do love, speaking of Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell, the wrestler announcer who gives him the name Spider-Man, he is the main star of Evil Dead. And that was with Sam Raimi. There's a show called Ash vs. Evil Dead right now, and he also plays the theater asshole in Spider-Man 2. Who says, like, he doesn't let Peter into the theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he is in Spider-Man 3, yeah.
Oh, that's
there were rumors, I don't know if how much there were rumors, there were rumors if they were going to keep doing them, that they were going to have him play Mysterio, and people were really excited about it, including myself. If you've seen Bruce Campbell, he's a very comedic, like, over-the-top actor. He's a very talented guy, so I like that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to throw in another quote, when... I think this is around the time when Peter discovers he has powers and he's doing all sorts of weird shit in his room, and Aunt May comes up and she like knocks on the door. He's like, "Peter, what's going on? Like, you're acting really strangely." And he's like, "Okay, thanks." And then he closes the door.
Doesn't he? Oh, no, and then he says that, but then he also says, "I'm not dressed, Aunt May." He says that line, and I love it. I think I should brought it up earlier, but I like when Uncle Ben gets shot. It's the classic Spider-Man origin. But I like that they show the one time he was selfish with the money, that it led to worse things. Where we felt like with Amazing... Well, I won't talk about that because we talked about that in the cast. But I think it's very well done. Of like, oh, that gives them the propel to be like, oh, if I don't do something bad, will happen. And it showed like, oh, I shouldn't have been a dick. Even though I kind of like the one line when he's like, oh, it's... What does the promoter say to him with the money? I can't remember. It's not my problem or something that. Yeah, I just love when he like just like is an asshole. He's just like, well, it's not my problem, and it's like,
well, it is your problem.
Yeah.
So. It's funny that like when he was sitting there next to Uncle Ben, that flashback scene he has of like picturing the guy was so fucking cheesy. Like,
yeah, my favorite too is the mistake of they show Uncle Ben get shot when he's on the ground. He's like, oh. You can see that there's the fucking cops like jacket they put Ben's head under, so you can tell the same time Cliff Robinson was down the ground like, okay, we're also gonna shoot the scene where he got shot, but they didn't even remove the pillow from his head when he got shot. Like, but yeah, I know the scene you're talking about when he's like, thanks, like the robber, because
it's like a scene that didn't happen earlier.
Because the robber says thanks, he just like
you just don't see him. All of a sudden you hear just thanks.
Yeah, he just like, quickly
looks at him in slow mo.
Yeah, he just quickly thanks. It's like in the end slow mo. It's like thanks, and it's like, yeah. I like that scene where he does catch the shooter. I like that he is. Do you guys think he kills the shooter? I can't remember if they answer it in the future, but they leave that really.
I feel like he kills him.
They don't.
What happens again?
He falls out the window. Yeah, but Peter kind of forces him out, right? Because he's like intimidating him.
Right.
But it's like they pull an animated series where they never say anything. But not to spoil, but in the third one, he does drop a line where once again it doesn't confirm or deny if he kills someone. I think he says some line to MJ like. She says, oh, there was that one time with that guy. And then I think he says, yeah, but that was Uncle Ben's killer. So they never... They pull an animated series where they skirt on if he did it. But I think he's dead. He looked pretty dead. He wasn't even moving, so...
He probably killed him. He was pretty mad in that moment. So.
Oh, he was. That's right.
I would have liked if they would have showed how Peter like kind of just changed his costumes or like thought about different ways his costumes.
They showed him drawing them.
I guess, but like I feel like him like more working on his costumes of trying to make it better than what it was before. I guess the
I just went from a sweatshirt to the full-on suit that he used the whole time.
That you see for the montage, more like the Amazing Spider-Man. Like you kind of see him go through different phases of like. For me, that's what I really liked watching. Kind of him just go through that transformation of Spider-Man. Even in Deadpool as well too. Like he does that
sewing and everything.
Sewing and changing it up. So
right.
Yeah. Little stuff I like at one point when Goblin destroys a base, it explodes and it transitions into them throwing like grad caps. I really like that.
Yeah.
I like that when you talk about this. I like that they don't show off Goblin for a while. They show him attack that base. They show Norman being a little sketchy, but you don't until that big festival with Mary J. Blige singing. You don't see. And I like that. I think they should build up the villains more. You shouldn't have to pimp them out so much. I like the build because when. I like you get Spider-Man's spider sense, you hear it, and then you just see him in the distance coming. And I like that. It's like this calm before the storm, and his laugh is great, too.
I would
Storm
agree.
And Norman.
The pacing and timing of when to bring, like, each character in. Like, you don't really forget about any of them. Like, sometimes you'll watch a movie, you're like, I haven't seen that character for an hour.
Yeah.
In this movie, it always kind of feels like, you know, you get their fix every once in a while.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to, might as well bring it up now, at that festival scene, that is when the Stanley cameo is.
Yeah.
It's a snappy scene. He just, like, moves some child out of the way and
Something's
apparently makes a grunting noise.
Oh. Yeah, and he's like, oh, look out. Like,
I don't know if I was looking at my phone for a second, but I did miss it, and I had to Google it after to see it. It is very, very cool.
That was really a cameo. Like, nowadays he's in scenes. That's a full-on, like, cameo, you know? So, I like that Harry calls his dad Storm and Norman because... Especially my girlfriend, when people are being annoying or annoying me, I call him Storm and Norman because that's a Harry. He's like... I love when he's like, oh, Storm and Norman's making his roundly calls. Like, I love that he just, like, takes his pot shot at his dad, so I do that to people all the time. Nice. And I'm like, oh, you're being Storm and Norman.
The other scene I really like with Norman is when he fakes that he's the old lady in the burning building.
Oh, right, Goblin!
I love that.
When he turns around with the blanket, he's like,
yeah, he's wearing
he just kicks Spider-Man.
There's someone else in there. Yeah. He goes back in.
What did you guys think about Goblins wanting to team up with Spider-Man? I asked this because my dad notoriously bugged me for years because he hates that part of the movie. He's like, oh, and then Goblin just wants to team up with Spider-Man. And I just remember when we saw it, he's like, that was so lame. And I'm like, I'm a child, Dad. I just like this movie. But he's like, it was so lame. What do you think about that?
Like the idea of it?
When he well, because he knocks,
he had like 2 or 3 like opportunities to straight up kill Spider-Man if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's true.
He could have skeleton bombed him.
I could definitely. Didn't really think about this until right now, but I could see it being like the science component of it. Like, there's clearly something going on with this guy, whether it be like a natural, obviously in this case it is, or just like technology he came up with, and maybe it's in that kind of realm. Maybe he wants to
keep your enemies closer.
Yeah, exactly. There's clearly this guy's pretty smart, so. And well, actually, does he know at that point that it's Peter Parker? I don't think so.
No, it's not something.
So that's not part of the motivation, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see it from that.
How'd you get that cut?
Oh, yeah.
Messenger knocked me down. I love the reveal. I love that he's just like, okay, fuck it, I'm gone. Something's come up. I love when he reaches for the pie and she's like, Norman, and he's just like. And he's like, that whole scene.
Something just came to my attention.
Yeah, but I actually really like the reveal scene of him finding out. It's a fun, clever way. He cut himself. Like, and Norman would be the only one.
Like the blood drop, yeah.
Yeah, Norman would be the only one to know. And I like that. It's not that he's like, oh, Peter. He's like genuinely worried. And when he has a conversation with the mask, you can tell he's like.
Yeah, I love those scenes in his like apartment or whatever.
Yeah.
Or his, like, suite when you just hears voices from all over, and then
yeah,
obviously that leads into the mirror scene.
Yeah, so I like that whole reveal and everything like that. How do you think he's explaining to people how he gets those pictures of Spider-Man?
Yeah, because they're seriously front and center shots.
They're literally some of them are
on the side of a building.
He knows Spider-Man. I don't know why that's so hard.
But how? But how when Spider-Man's in midair going like this, he's like also.
Hey, Spider-Man, we're gonna take some action shots today. I'm gonna get you to do this and this for me. Can you do that? I think that's what's happening.
I mean, they did show that one scene where he sets it up, but that was at night and it was from like 30 feet away. So you really do have to wonder how he's getting these action shots.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that Jameson's not a little more suspicious than he was.
Actually, I really like.
He just wants the money though, Jameson.
Yeah, that's all he cares about.
Yeah, even though it's like very light when he's paying.
Yeah, I like really in this film as well too. The spider senses. You really got the sense of that.
Nice.
Right. Every time he's kind of getting that feeling when the first time when Flash goes to punch him, like all of a sudden he just knows that he's behind him and then just moves out of the way. And
they've never really done. They didn't do Amazing Spider-Man and Civil War. They did it, but he didn't have a moment. He goes. They have a scene where he's not looking that way. Bucky throws something, and he's like, "Oh no!" and he looks and he ducks. So you can. They give the sense of like, "Oh, he has spider sense." But I love the whole slow motion. The music shifts.
It takes a time. It's like it has to warm up to the idea, and like you can. Like, see that he feels like really unsettled in the situation, really uncomfortable.
You see, from his perspective, it's not like the animated series where he just gets lightning bolts around his head. And he's like, something bad's happening. You know, like he has time to actually adapt to it. So yeah, I'll agree. I like that.
Well done, indeed.
I love the glider. Glider, I think, is one of the best movie weapons, along with the pumpkin bombs.
I've always loved like the final scene and how he like fires it at him, and then Spidey jumps out of the way. I've always loved.
Oh yeah, I love too when he just literally is just holding his Spider-Man. That's like he just throws him through the building, like. Even though, I guess he just dies from getting pierced in the crotch, which we'll talk about later, but I wish they would have raised that a bit, because as a kid, I was like, oof, that's a bad way to go.
That is a good point. Like, when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, that's not quite what I pictured in my head. I always, obviously picture it a little more realistically.
Well, I'll bring it up now, because I don't want to forget. I think that final scene shows to me, like, why Norman is one of my favorite villains, because yes, he's a bad guy, he's a terrible person, he's killed people, but what are his last words? Don't tell Harry. Right before he's about to die, he's still, even this whole movie, we thought maybe he doesn't really love his son that much. In that moment, he still he shows that he still, even though, because at that point he's as bad as it gets, he still loves his son a bit. And that, to me, that line, if that line's not there, it's still right. But that scene, because it's so sad when he just says that, and he just drops. And Peter's stuck with that, because now that weight is on him of like, yeah, I can't let Harry know about this. So that line, to me, is like, it's perfection. It, like, wraps that character up so nicely, and that's what I fucking love about this movie. Are those guys gonna rape Mary Jane in that alley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't. I thought it was just a. I thought it was just a robbery.
Oh, it's not
and
a robbery.
I was going like. He's doing some weird shit.
Yeah. So I once again 2003, or 2002 Spider-Man movie. I was like, wow, I was surprised. We talked about the Granny firefight when he was, that. It doesn't really make sense how it ends. Spider-Man, knocks Goblin down. Goblin looks, and Spider-Man's just gone. And then Goblin's like, no one says no to me. and it's just over, and they go to
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
the fire is like the transition.
Yeah, but it's really awkward. They don't show. Maybe it's just to be like, oh, Spider-Man's injured, but he's not that bad. He just got a gun on his arm, so it was kind of awkward when I watched it this time. Like that stuck out. One of my favorite lines of all time. Me and my friends have talked about this forever. I always bring it up. They say, "Oh, Peter, you're finally here," and he goes, "Oh, I had to get the." I had to be an old lady with a stick to get these cranberries.
Yeah.
That fucking analogy is twisted as shit, and they just all laugh at it, even at me. Like, I had to be an old lady with a stick to get these cranberries, and it's like, wait, what? Like, that's always stuck out. I remember one time me and a friend, we saw the movie, we talked about it. I remember just having a laugh attack, right? Because
It almost doesn't seem like something he would say.
no, like it seems such a strange line, so I had to shout that out because we have recorded on a podcast. Because like, you know, being old lady with a stick,
Another line that I like, not quite as good as that one, is when he gets like his check from Jameson and he takes it to the assistant, who is Elizabeth Banks, which is kind of funny because she's like she's a much bigger actress nowadays, but. He gives it to her, and she's like, "Oh, who are you?" He's like, "I'm Peter Parker. I'm a photographer."
Oh yeah,
she's like, "Great,
I know."
I can
cool
see
story,
that.
bro.
Yeah,
I love like those little awkward lines where it's like, "What are you saying, dude? Like, what's wrong with you?"
I felt the people helping Spider-Man in this was more natural than Amazing Spider-Man with the cranes, them just throwing trash at Goblin and just the boat. I liked it. You know, I thought it showed that they just happened to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I like the part when he drops the kids and MJ and you see them falling in Spider-Man's eyes, and it's literally that thing like which one he's gonna pick because it's 50-50. Of course he finds a way to save them both.
Yeah.
But I like the pumpkin bomb in slow motion at the end fight when he throws it at Peter and it just explodes and you see shards of his mask and everything go off.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he doesn't just use the skeleton bomb. I wish they never introduced that because it's like at this point he's gonna kill.
Yeah, that's kind of a plot hole.
Yeah, maybe he just had those four and he's like, I'm using on these fuckers.
He also had those like sick razor.
They're so sick.
Things.
So annoying.
Drones.
In the Spider-Man adaptation for the video game of this, for the movie, those blades fucking suck in the video game. They're always after you. They're such a pain in the ass. My last like big point. Oh, I love when he does get stabbed with the glider. It's moving really quick, and they cut to Willem Dafoe just going, "Oh," and then it goes quick, and it stabs him again. It's just really good. That's a classic Sam thing. Mary Jane saying she's in love with Spider-Man. And the part with Aunt May, a little strange. He's just a hero guy. She's kissed him once, but she literally says she's in love.
Maybe it's the idea of Spider-Man that Aunt May's like, oh, like, you know, like...
True, but she says, I'm kind of in love with somebody else.
To be fair, Mary Jane's in love with like 4 people across these 2 movies.
Flash, Franco, Spider-Man, Toby, and Jonah's son. Yeah. And
a lot of people. It doesn't take long for her.
Yeah, no. And we talked about this on upcoming cast, but I thought it was ballsy back in the day for they don't end up together. Peter says nope. He could have been like, hey, let's end up together, but I still want to keep the secret. Still gonna be Spider-Man. I like that he is the bigger man in this movie and says no, I don't want to risk your life. They kiss, and I love that he drops that line of like, you'll always have me as a friend. What a fucking just shade line, just a knife in the back, but like he's doing it for the right reasons, and I love that end scene.
I agree.
Anything else?
I think that wraps up my notes personally.
I have a quick. They showed Eddie Brock at the I don't know if you got that.
I didn't.
At one point, they're saying, "Have we got pictures of Spider-Man?" Robbie says Eddie's working on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they said to say that. Kurt Connors gets a shout out.
Yeah. Oh, does he?
Because remember, Peter fires him in Spider-Man.
Connors fires him.
Connor fires Peter. He mentions it because he needs a job.
Right.
The Stan Lee cameo have. Kyle, I want to ask you, when Norman does that experiment on himself and he dies, how's that CPR that the guy does on him?
It's not real.
Because it's so whippy. He's just like, okay.
Even like his little seizure thing, like it was very exaggerated. He was like, oh! You're like, man, like that's not what happens. But okay, I'll roll with it.
And then I have a quick few lines. At one point, the teacher in the beginning of the movie says, if you guys talk again, you'll fail this entire course. That teacher was not fucking around.
No.
He just shut that right out. When they put their strengths on Norman in the lab, he goes, ooh, it's cold. Yeah. I think that's probably something that was not planned because it seemed, but I liked that. I like when Jonas says like, oh, I'm not going to pay you, but I'll send you meat. a nice box of Christmas
Yeah.
meat.
That was great.
At one point in the headline on the newspaper it says the Big Apple dreads the spider bite. I really like that.
Nice.
JJ's one line that he has when you first get introduced to him, and his secretary's like, "Oh, your wife's on line 1," and then he picks up the phone and then slams the phone right away and continues his story.
Is it this movie or I think it's the second one where she's like, your wife's phone, he says she lost her checkbook, and he's like, perfect.
Yeah,
And
I think that's
the second one.
He's on. Yeah, no, that's about it. That's all I got for Easter eggs, questions, lines, everything like that.
Mhm.
I have, there's no other notes, I have some quick trivia, but if there's no notes.
No, I got.
Hit me with the trivia.
Hugh Jackman revealed, this was a very big thing back in the day, that he was supposed to have a brief cameo as Wolverine. Jackman actually showed up to New York to film the scene, but the entire plan was scrapped when the crew couldn't get access to the Wolverine costume from the X-Men film in 2000.
Oh wow.
Wow.
I don't understand what the fuck happens. I don't understand even then how you couldn't even have him on have a leather jacket. And obviously they were gonna call him probably Wolverine for rights issue, but that would have been so cool to have him in that. They should have just had him in the background with his leather jacket and his white tank top. But that was something that came out a few years ago, and people like myself were pissed because it's like
That would have been
he
sick.
flew to New York, he was there for it.
Yeah.
So
That's disappointing. Missed
Yeah.
opportunity.
Wasting his time. 2002.
pretty much, William Dafoe performed 90% of his own stunts.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
badass.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what those 10% were.
By signing on for this and the 2 sequels, Toby secured himself a paycheck of $26 million.
Cool.
Good fall for Toby. The studio, and here's some casting for the 3 main leads. The studio expressed interest in Leo, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Freddie Prinze Jr. on playing Spider-Man.
Who's Freddie Prinze Jr.?
I have no idea either.
You'd see him and you'd recognize him. He's married to the girl who played Buffy. He was in the Scooby-Doo movie. He
Freddie
played
Prinze Jr. I'm gonna Google it.
in the Scooby-Doo movie. He played Fred.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I have to. Anyways.
The other person that did test for it was James Franco. He tested for Spider-Man.
Huh.
Yeah, so he auditioned. They really liked him, so they kept him on as Harry. Mm-hmm.
That's like the next best thing.
This
really.
guy. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh.
Yeah. Before William Dafoe received the role
The Revolt.
the role of Green Goblin, Nicolas Cage.
That would have been so good.
Oh, Spider-Man, Harry. Yeah, that actually would have been fucking awful. Nicolas Cage.
If they did it with like the real face mask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
John Malkovich, Bill Paxton. This one I don't understand. Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro, I think, would have been an awful pick. Spider-Man. And then one that I think would have not been. I think it would have been bad, but I would have loved to seen it. John Travolta.
That would have been sick.
I would have.
Interesting.
It would have been really interesting. Let's see. I don't know if you guys know any of these girls. Kate Hudson
Yeah.
auditioned for Mary Jane. Alicia Descuco. Can't remember how you pronounce that name. She's from The Lost Stuff. Alicia Cuthbert, the girl from The Girl Next Door. And Tara Reid from American Pie and Big Lebowski. So, bunch of 2000 big names. So,
Yeah.
that's all I got for trivia. Not too much.
Not as interesting as Amazing Spider-Man, to be honest with you.
No, that was a lot. I think because it was bigger then, they were like, we need to look at everybody. Where this was like, oh, who's kind of right for the role, which people should maybe think about. So, Dylan Musk, what are you giving this movie? I know you don't give number ratings,
Well,
but
we don't do that on Spider-Man Retrospective, do we?
we did it for the movie. I thought we did Amazing Spider-Man. We gave it the thumbs and
thumbs.
the numbers.
I think we just gave it thumbs.
I'm pretty sure we just gave it thumbs.
Okay, we can just.
I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I think this movie's a lot of fun. I think a couple of problems I had with it were more so just like I needed to think about it more, and I think over the hour and a half, whatever we've been here, I think most of those problems are just like, they're not really problems. I was just kind of nitpicking little things, but overall, like you said, like one of the best comic book villains that I can think of, even all the way up to now in 2017. We have so many of these movies, and yet he still stands out as being phenomenal.
Yeah.
Toby, super fucking weird and awkward, but like fits perfectly with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the other characters just work together so well. The action and like so many one-liners. Yeah, this movie. I think this movie definitely stands up in 2017 for sure. I mean, like I just said, even with all the comic book movies we have, so many like these They're coming out like 3 or 4 every year from every company, it seems like. But you know, this one's still one of the best for sure.
Mm-hmm. How many thumbs are you giving it?
I'll give it 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Sweet. I'll give my overall. I really like the film. A lot more than I thought I was going to. Like I said earlier, definitely a throwback from like what I felt like watching the movie again as a kid, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a lot of fun watching it. I didn't really have any issues with it. The villain was really good. Everyone did a really good job. MJ's kind of like my stereotypical like girl who I would imagine as like a red, like my start of redhead phase, where I just love redheaded girls for whatever reason, and that MJ was kind of like a big part of that.
Some people never leave that phase.
Yeah, no,
hasn't.
And it was just a great film overall, and I highly recommend if thinking about what's a movie I haven't seen in a while, and you kind of want to watch something again. Definitely, this movie is out there. You should watch, and it's a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it 2 thumbs up as well.
Did you almost say 3? Because that's
I
impossible.
was thinking 3.
Doesn't sneak a toe in there.
I'll sneak a toe.
2 thumbs up and a big toe. Yeah, no, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite comic book movies. Like I said previously, great villain. I still think as right now, Tobey's the best Spider-Man. Tom Holland could pass it, but I love him as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. One of the best origin stories. Like we talk about score, action's good, cinematography's good.
The pacing's good.
The supporting cast is good from Jonah to Mary Jane to Harry. Like I like them all. They all fit. And honestly, yes, it has a special place in my heart because I saw it as a child. But I think it's still. I think many movies have surpassed it, but I think it still stands out in when you talk about what are the best comic movies. This, and I do think the second one as well, are mentioned, and I think that shows how strong it is. Because I think there's some movies that, that's one of the best until more come on, and you're like, it kind of gets notched down a few, and maybe it's just good, and now we've seen it. I still think it's a great movie. It's definitely 2 thumbs up for me. I love this movie. If you haven't seen it in a long time, like you said, watch it. If you haven't even seen it, watch it, but... Yeah,
we just wrecked the whole movie.
Yeah, we did, but
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I love this movie, and like I said, I am a little hipster. I kind of like it better than the first one, and because second
Better
is
than the first one.
Better than the second one.
Yeah, better than the second one. Yeah, because the second one's kind of hailed as like the greatest. For a time, was the greatest comic book movie of all time before a few came out, and I understand that. I think it's a better made movie. I think I just like this one a bit more, just because certain things. So. And that's what you'll hear from us next, folks, on the Spider-Man Retrospective. We're going to be talking about Spider-Man 2, 2004. Everyone's coming back. We got Doc Ock, some new things in play.
New characters.
Find us on video services, whether that's YouTube or Twitch, podcast services, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, SoundCloud. The whole
SoundCloud twice, just because it's so good.
2 accounts now.
SoundCloud's a good place.
Yeah, and like I said, if you really like this, support us on Patreon. If you give us a little pocket change, you get lots of these episodes early, Spider-Man Retrospective, because we feel long.
We do record those early,
yeah, and they're lots of fun. So thank you very much for tuning in.
And you can
see you on the web.
Catch you on
the web.
That was bad.
Catch you on the web.
I said see you on the web, but at least I said it on the right time.
You're just being a Storm and Norman, Dylan.
Oh, man.